Hello and welcome back to Phil's Corner, and welcome back to What I'm Buying, the series where I show you the shirts that I've added to my personal collection in the previous month. Now by the time you're watching this video, we are quite deep into August, but this is What I'm Buying July. These are the shirts that arrived on my doorstep in July. We've got a range of shirts. I've got 5 shirts to go through today, and there's a really good selection, some really lovely shirts. We've got a shirt sent also directly from a club, as well as a cheap eBay bargain. So there's lots to talk about today. We will get to it very soon. Before I do, the usual bit of housekeeping. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. If you've watched some of my videos, or maybe this is your first time on the channel, be a subscriber. You'll find out when I go live for my live streams that I do every week, and when a new video like this gets published, you'll find out first as a subscriber. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, and if you enjoy this video today, make sure to leave a like as well and a comment. Tell me what you like or don't like about this video. And if you want to support me even further, I've got a Patreon, and I'll just show on the screen now the names of my current supporters on Patreon. Shout out to all these guys who are generously supporting me at the moment on Patreon. If you want to find out more about what you get as part of my Patreon, you can click the link in the description, and there's loads of good stuff there. You can get a free shirt as well, which is exclusive to my patrons, which I designed in collaboration with Kit Locker. So that's my Patreon. Thank you again to my current patrons, and thank you to you for watching. So July was a good month for my collection. As I say, I've got 5 shirts, and we'll start with this one that's on top of the pile here, the Valencia home shirt from this year. Now the story with this one is that I actually have a friendship with someone at Valencia, someone at the club, and they've been sending a few of their shirts over the last couple of years. So this is their current home shirt, which they'll be wearing next season. This is a very plain shirt. It's fair to say this is a largely plain white shirt. There are some details which I'll get to. The star of this one is very much the crest, and we've got an old school Valencia crest, and I absolutely love the Valencia crests. Throughout their history, it's been one of my favourites in world football, and this slightly more retro version, which of course has a lot of similarities to the current crest, is really nice. There's a little detail here to celebrate 100 years of the Mestalla, Valencia's stadium, and that's the kind of theme of Valencia's collection this season. Of course, it's quite funny as well to see Kazoo. Kazoo, very much a talking point in today's football shirt space. They are sponsoring so many clubs at the moment, and I love that you get the Spanish tagline there. If you flip the shirt over, you'll see it is a largely plain back, but there is a really nice detail here, again celebrating the Mestalla. I think in general this shirt could have been so much better. I think the idea of a clean shirt with just a few really nicely designed details to celebrate 100 years of the Mestalla could look really good. I think this ends up being a bit underwhelming if I'm being completely honest. I love the crest and this detail is good, but Puma aren't the best at creating kind of high quality details. A lot of their details tend to be just little patches like this. They're not kind of nice raised applications, which a lot of other brands do, and you'll be seeing a bit of that on some of the other shirts today. So I think in general, I love Valencia. I always keep half an eye on how they're doing. But yeah, I think this shirt could have been so much better. I do think the away is a bit more interesting, and that is a particularly nice one as well from this year. But nonetheless, really happy to get hold of this one, and it's a really nice addition alongside my other Valencia shirts. But now we move on to what might be my favourite shirt of the year. This is the amazing Club Atletico Belgrano shirt with an incredible all-over pattern filled with details, and it is an absolutely stunning design, which I knew I had to own as soon as I saw this on my show, The Hot Wall. The Hot Wall is a show where I go through every shirt that's released in the calendar year and rank it on the giant tier list. This Belgrano shirt came up very early on in the year, and at the time I wasn't able to get hold of it. It had sold out and it was only available in Argentina. Thanks to a friend in Argentina, I was able to get hold of this once they restocked it, and this has been sent directly from Argentina, and it has met my expectations and some. I absolutely love this design. If we look at the crest first, you can see this really nice chunky textured crest here. You can see really nice kind of ridges and edges. This is the kind of thing which I think elevates shirts, or the best shirts in the modern game, when you have nice applications like this. And even though the Araya logo here and the sponsors are just printed, they're not sublimated, so you still have a nice bit of texture, which I quite like as well, although sublimated details can be fun. But this is a really nice design. In terms of the body, which again is a key feature, it's one of those patterns which has so many little details. You can see a compass, what looks like kind of pirate themed imagery. You've got a ship and you've got other kind of nautical themes, some waves. It is a really wonderful piece of art. And even though this isn't a blackout shirt, technically it does have a kind of blackout feel with a very kind of dark, grey, moody kind of theme. Perhaps the best thing though is that the pattern goes all the way on the back, and you guys know how much I love this. Here you can really see the pattern in all its glory. Look at this. I am completely obsessed with this design. I think they've really nailed it. I think in terms of the contrast, it's absolutely perfect. It's just enough so you can see all the details, but it also has a really nice look where it doesn't look too garish. I think this colorway really lends itself to this kind of pattern because it's quite dark and moody. I honestly think this is one of the best shirts I've seen in a while. This is one of my favorite shirts of the year for sure. The only thing is that I kind of wish I was able to get it in long sleeves, because I did see it was available in long sleeves afterwards, but that's taken away from the point really. This is an amazing design, and again, because it was from Argentina, there's something quite special about picking up a shirt that you otherwise couldn't own. I think this is one of my favourite things about collecting, is when you can find someone, another collector, a fellow collector, and maybe you can trade a shirt or you can ask them to help out, and many people are willing to do that around the world. So that is an amazing thing, I think, about the community, and I really like this one. As I say, this is definitely going to be one I'll keep. I'm not going to be getting rid of this one anytime soon. I do tend to sell a lot of my shirts, and we'll come on to a couple shirts today which I used to own and then sold and I bought back, and that does happen sometimes. But some shirts are so good that I never want to sell it. This is very much in that category. Wonderful shirt from a rare and club Atletico Belgrano. Now, if you watched my last eBay stream, that was a couple of weeks ago, that's still on the channel if you want to check it out, you saw that I bidded on this PSG shirt, and at the time I wasn't sure if it was going to be real because it was about 20 quid I think, or something like that, but it turned out to be real. It arrived and I checked the tags, checked the internal tags here, and sure enough this came back as legit. It's quite funny because the crest here looks a little bit wonky. If you line it up against the pattern here, you can see that it looks ever so slightly turned that way. I don't know how common that was. Maybe that was an error on a number shirt, so maybe this is just a little bit wrong. Maybe that's why the shirt was sold by the original seller, but nonetheless, very happy to own this one, because this I think is probably my favourite PSG Jordan shirt. This and the black variant, which PSG also had at the start of the Jordan collaboration. I really like this because I think it combines the very much kind of PSG imagery of the central stripe or the hectare with some of those elements of Jordan. You can see, particularly on the back, if I flip it over, you get a nice view of this detail. And around this time, what was this, 2018 I think, if I remember correctly, Nike had this kind of panel on all their shirts pretty much in that season. Subsequently, a lot of brands then went on to copy this panel, but you can see here the Chicago Bulls colours, which I really like. Again, that very subtle nod to Jordan, to Michael Jordan and the Bulls. I think this really worked. Looking at the shirt, there is a slight mark or a couple of marks on the side, but overall, considering the price I paid for this, I'm very happy. I'll most likely sell this one on at some point. I do tend to buy and sell quite a lot, and again, that's the kind of theme which we'll talk about a bit today. And this one, I'll probably try and make a bit of a profit from it. Maybe not too much, but I'd expect to at least get a bit more than I paid for it back. Places like eBay are still good for shirts, guys. I would recommend checking out eBay, and if you want to know how to shop on eBay a bit more, just a couple of small tips and tricks, check out my eBay streams. I'm pausing them for a little bit as I catch up on the hot wall, but there's loads on the channel, you can go check that out. Really good bargain there from eBay. And we're finishing very strong, guys, with two beautiful shirts. Now both of these have something in common, in that I used to own both of these and I subsequently sold them to fund another purchase. I've bought them back, and this is the kind of funny thing really. A lot of people swear by never selling shirts. For me, I like to sell shirts to fund new purchase because I don't have tons of money coming in, and sometimes I buy a shirt, photograph it, maybe even wear it for a bit, and then if I'm able to sell it, sometimes with profit, sometimes not for profit, sometimes it's at a loss even, but I can get another shirt. I quite enjoy having a lot of shirts coming through my hands and that kind of thing. But again, sometimes it goes wrong, and in these two examples, I really regretted selling these shirts. If we start with this Red Star FC shirt, this was the 2020 away shirt, I believe. Let's talk about the design first, and then I'll talk about why I sold it initially, why I bought it back. This as a design is such a treat. Quite similar to the Belgrano that you've got an all over pattern, but this one is a bit different. You've got these kind of little groups of images, and in these images you've got famous players and figures in Red Star's history. So you can see Jules Rimet is here somewhere, of World Cup fame. He's in one of these pieces, I think that might be him there, I'm not certain. But also some of the old Red Star FC crests and kits that you can see here. You can also see images of the fans. I really enjoy shirts like this, where the design tells all these little stories, and you can kind of look at this and see something different every time. Like many good designs, the crest and the sponsor has all been recoloured as well to match the overall aesthetic, and this design was also created by the design agency Acid FC out of London, so shout out to them for this really wonderful kit. And I'll flip over the back quickly. There's not much to say actually about the back, it is largely plain. Bit of the pattern on the sleeves, but there we go, that could be better, but that is the way with many shirts in the modern game. But really guys, I kind of bought this back after everything that happened with Red Star and the competition this year. And if you don't know, I've got a video on the channel talking about the design that I created, which is now going to be made into an actual shirt, and I cannot tell you how excited I am about that. You'll be seeing a lot more on the channel, of course, when that goes live and things like that. But yeah, being involved with Red Star, it kind of reminded me and brought back my memories of this shirt. And again, I sold it to fund another purchase. Another time, I think I sold it for pretty much what I paid for it, so I didn't really make or lose anything. But I knew I had to get this back, and I did actually pay a bit more than RRP than what I paid for it at the time to get it back. But I'm happy nonetheless, even though there was a slight kind of overall loss there. So yeah, a cautionary tale perhaps for those who are a bit like me, who do sell to buy. Sometimes you might end up buying it back. I mean, I think that's okay. You win some, you lose some, I would say. But I'm so happy to get this back nonetheless, and it'll be really fun to take some pictures alongside the anniversary shirt when that comes out. And finally guys, we come to this absolutely stunning Inter Milan shirt. If I've got my years right, this was the 2019 Inter third shirt. Inter had a great collection that year. The mint away shirt as well was particularly popular, but I especially loved this third shirt. The story is all about Pirelli, and Pirelli, a long-term sponsor of Inter, had pretty much always had just a plain word mark, a simple white text for their logo. But this is their full colour logo. If you watch F1 or any kind of other motorsport, you probably would have seen this around racetracks and things like that. And I thought it was so great that Pirelli could get their moment in the sun. They get their full colour logo, and the whole design of this, the imagery of this, is all based around Pirelli tyres. So you can see here on the collar and the cuffs, this simple yellow line. If you just Google Pirelli tyres, I'll show a picture now on screen, you can see it mimics, it kind of evokes the imagery of Pirelli tyres. And even the crest, in a sense, not only is it circular, but the kind of yellow lines again, it really does kind of look good when you stack it up against a picture of a tyre. I really love that. Of course, like Nike's third shirts from 2019, we've also got the Futura logo. That logo looks great. And there's a lovely subliminal pattern. It's quite hard to see depending on the lighting, but you've got a really nice pattern. This is the kind of pattern I like, where it's actually part of the material. It's not just a sublimated print, but it's a very subtle jacquard, and I like that. I think it's the kind of pattern which adds so much depth, and to be honest, I think most shirts which have a plain base should be having a pattern like this if you can, at least if you're a top tier club who can afford to do that kind of thing. It adds so much quality to the shirt. And excitingly, that pattern goes all the way down the back. You've also got that little panel here like we had with the PSG shirt, as with Nike shirts around that time, but this is a real classic, certainly one of the best shirts of the modern era. Again, like Red Star, is one that I did actually own, and this wasn't easy to part with initially. I only sold it because I was eyeing up a really rare Boca Juniors shirt, an 80s Boca Juniors shirt. I'll show you the picture on screen now. One of the ones that was in the style of West Germany, and I kind of weighed up and thought, if I sold this in order to get that Boca shirt, it would be painful to do this, but I would be much more happy having that Boca shirt, given how much more rare and expensive it is. But having sold that, I was very much on the lookout for this again, and I'm so happy that I could find this. Again, bit of a cautionary tale, I said that a few times today. I'd really like to hear in the comments actually, what do you guys do? Do you keep every shirt you ever add to your collection? Do you never sell? Are you quite like me? Are you quite fluid in your collection? Do you sell and buy quite a lot? Have you got any regrets? Have you got any shirts that you had to buy back after having sold them on? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear it. And usually, before we close out the video, I would have done a community section, but I was so inundated with great examples of people's pickups and additions to the collections that I decided to have a separate video. So coming very soon will be a video just dedicated to the community. I'll go through as many responses as I can, talking about some of my favourite pickups, talking a bit about the market, the kind of shirts that you can be getting at the moment, the great places you can find shirts and places to get bargains, things like that. So yeah, thank you to everyone who replied to my tweet. As I say, there were so many submissions that I thought I can't just choose 5 or 6 here, I've got to have a separate video. We'll try that out, and if you guys enjoy it, we might do that as well for future months. But that is it for what I'm buying July. Of course, don't forget the usual stuff that I mentioned at the start, to subscribe if you haven't already, to leave a like and comment if you enjoy the video, and of course, if you want to support me further, there's a Patreon as well. But thank you so much for watching this, guys. I'll see you very soon for another video or live stream. All the best, take care.